Hello, 8th graders, and welcome to the lesson. Today's lesson is about writing. You're going to describe your lifestyle using new modifiers to modify some adjectives. Open up your book on page 60 so that you can follow up the lesson with me. Since you're adapting and adjusting to the new change in your life, it's a good opportunity to write about the way you live and what do you and your family like to do. Now you're going to use 4 adverbs. If you look at exercise 2, we have 4 adverbs and a phrase. So now we're going to use these adverbs to describe or modify some adjectives. Let's look at the first one, extremely. Extremely means to a very great degree. So if I'm describing something, maybe I would describe this lesson. I will say, this lesson is extremely interesting. So in this sentence or in this example, I've used the adverb extremely to describe or to modify the adjective interesting. Now let's look at really. Really means to express interest or when there's an actual fact. So if I want to describe the lesson of writing, I would say, I really like writing. Maybe in your case, you would write that you really like reading. Maybe you prefer playing video games. It's up to you. And now we have the adverb quite. Quite means to the most absolute extent or degree. So if I'm describing the location of my house in the neighborhood, I would say the supermarket is quite near to my house or to where I live. Here I have used the adverb quite to modify the adjective near. And the previous sentence I have used the adverb really to describe or to modify the adjective like. And now, not particularly. Not particularly means only a little or not very much. So if I want to describe my bedroom, well, my bedroom isn't particularly big. So in this example, I've used not particularly. I've used this adverb to modify the adjective big. This means that my bedroom is big, but it's not that big. It's only a little big. Now, let's take up the phrase not at all. Not at all means definitely not, or when you don't mind something. So if I want to describe my living room, I would say my living room isn't at all tidy. So in this example, I've used isn't at all with the adjective to modify the adjective tidy. That means my living room is not untidy, it's tidy, I don't mind it. So if we want to look at the scale of these adverbs, we would say that the one who takes the higher scale is extremely, and the one who takes the less or at the last scale is not at all. If you want to look at them in terms of the degree of each one of them. And now, please look at the first exercise and let's read it together. Look at the photo and answer the questions. Then read the letter and check your answers. Where is this house? Who lives here? And what do they like doing? I want you to try to answer these questions, and at the end of the video, I will write the answers on the board. Now, let's look at the letter and read it together, and let's find the modifiers. We're going to find the modifiers extremely, really, quite, not particularly, and not at all. And as you can see, the address of the sender of the writer is on the right of the letter. 7 Harbour View, Portlethen Village, Aberdeenshire, Scotland, 15th December. Dear Jane, hello. I'm Anna's friend. My name is Amanda, and I'm 14 years old. I live in Portlethen, a village near Aberdeen in Scotland. Our house is quite near. So here's the first modifier, quite. And the writer, Amanda, have used it to describe that her house is quite near to the beach. So she described that the adjective near by using the adverb quite. So the beach is really near, or it's very near to her house. Where is your house? I live with my parents and my sister Joanna. I don't like staying at home. I prefer being outside. I love walking with my dog on the beach. Have you got any pets? Our house isn't particularly big. So in this sentence, she's describing her house that it's a little bit big. It's not that big, but it's not small. So my sister and I share a very small bedroom. I hate sharing the bedroom. Joanna always makes a mess, but I like being tidy. If Joanna did some tidying, our room would be nice. You can see in this sentence, she have used the past simple, did, would, and the infinitive. So this is a second conditional. If Joanna did some tidying, our room would be nice. She never makes her bed, either. We spend most of our time in the living room, although it isn't very big. It isn't at all untidy. Here she have used at all, isn't not at all, to describe the adjective untidy. So that means that her room isn't untidy. It's a little bit tidy and she doesn't mind it. So it isn't at all untidy because there are a lot of cupboards and shelves. There isn't a table in the living room, so we do our homework on the dining room table. We enjoy watching TV in the evenings, and I really like reading. So here she have used the adverb really to describe what she liked to do. She modified the adjective like. So I really like reading too. Do you enjoy reading? What is your favorite book? Tell me, what do you do at home? Write soon, Amanda. And now let's look at the third exercise. Choose the correct answer. When you read these sentences, you have to think about the meaning of the sentence. You can't choose a modifier or an adverb without thinking of the meaning, or else you will choose the wrong modifier. Let's look at the first sentence. I hate cooking. I'm extremely bad at cooking. you can't choose not at all, because that would mean that you don't mind it. And in this sentence, we have a negative meaning, which is hate. So if you hate cooking, you will mind cooking. So you have to choose extremely, which means that you are very bad at cooking. The second sentence. It's amazing. It's really good. Well, here we have the adjective amazing, which means astonishing or something that causes a big surprise or a wonder. So you will say it's amazing, it's really good because it surprised you and it causes you to wonder. So you have to use really, which means very good. Third sentence. Did you pass the geography exam? Yes, it was not at all difficult. In this sentence, you can't choose quite difficult because you have passed it, and you say not at all because it wasn't difficult and you don't mind it. In the fourth sentence, that painting is not particularly attractive, is it? And here you have to choose not particularly, which means a little bit. It's not attractive, a little bit. You can't choose quite because you're wondering whether if it's attractive or not. You're not sure. In the fifth sentence, is he really happy? In this sentence, you can't choose happy really because we write the adverbs before the adjectives because they modify them. So you can't write the adjective before the adverb. This is wrong. You have to write the adverb which modifies the adjective before the adjective. So is he really happy? In this sixth sentence, it's not particularly hot today. I'm going to take my jacket. You can't choose extremely because if the weather is extremely hot, you won't take a jacket. So it's not hot. Maybe it would get cold. So you choose not particularly because it's a little bit. Maybe it's warm and maybe it will get cold. So you're going to take a jacket. In the fourth exercise, you have to plan a reply to Amanda's letter. First, you have to write notes for each paragraph. I will write an example sentences or an example paragraphs for you on the board. Now I'm going to show you or give you an example of how to write the paragraphs. In the first paragraph, you have to thank Amanda for her letter. So, let's thank Amanda for her letter. Hello, Amanda. And then you use a comma. If you write just hello, you use the comma after hello. So, hello, Amanda. Thank you very much for your letter. Or you just can say write. Thank you very much for writing. And now you have to introduce yourself. So my name is Tatiana, and I'm 37 years old. And then you use a full stop. Where do you live? I live in Al Gardens Street in Amman, Jordan. So the first step, you have to thank Amanda for her letter. Then you have to introduce yourself. You write what is your name and how old are you and where do you live. So this is an example of how to write the first paragraph. Let's move on to the second paragraph. And now in the second paragraph, you have to make notes about 4 points. Who do you live with? Have you got any pets? What is your home like? And what do you like or dislike about it? So let's start with the first point. Who do you live with? Well, for me, I live with my daughter, Marianne. So you write with whom you live with, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, if you want to mention their names, and when you finish, you use a full stop. So I live with my daughter, Marianne. And the second point, have you got any pets? Well, unfortunately for me, I used to have 2 cats. But one day, they ran away. And that's why I don't think that I will have a pet again, because taking care of pets is a big responsibility. So, write with who do you live and if you have a pet or not. The third point, what is your home like? So now you have to describe your home. You have to start a new line. So my house isn't particularly big. And here I've used the adverb particularly to describe or modify the adjective big. But it is considered a big space for the 2 of us. I have my own bedroom. But I love sharing. My daughter's bedroom. And for the point, the fourth point, what do you like or dislike about it? Well, I hate the kitchen. Because I hate the kitchen because it's quite small. Also here I have used the adverb quite to describe the adjective small. And you can add this sentence, and there is no space to move while I'm cooking. And the thing that I like about my house, that I love, that I have a big terrace. And I can add here an adverb to describe big. So I love that I have a really big terrace. You see, now I have added the adverb I really to describe the adjective big, to say that my terrace is very big outside. So I can enjoy the sun and the view. That's it for the fourth point, and now we can move to the third paragraph. And now, paragraph 3. What do you like doing when you're at home? Well, for me, I spend most of my time in the living room. It's quite comfortable. So here I have used the modifier quite to describe the adjective comfortable. And I do a lot of writing on the table. I love watching TV. When we use love, prefer, like, dislike, hate, these verbs, when you use these verbs, you have to use the ing form after them. So I love watching TV too. I prefer. Also, when we write prefer, you have to use the ing form after prefer. So I prefer watching SCI movies and thrillers. In the evenings, so in the evenings, I don't mind doing some exercises to keep my body fit. So I spend most of my time in the living room. It's quite comfortable, and I do a lot of writing on the table. I love watching TV too. I prefer watching SCI movies and thrillers. In the evenings, I don't mind doing some exercises to keep my body fit. So, what about you? Right, what do you like doing when you're at home? In the third paragraph. Well, in exercise 5, you have to write a reply to Amanda's letter. You have to remember to use the second conditional to describe situations that you wish were different. For example, if I had a lot of money, I would build a bigger kitchen. Here's the past simple form, would plus infinitive. Use the correct quantifiers. As in this example, there are some books on the shelf. Use verb plus ing. For example, I love or like or dislike, prefer, hate, or don't mind reading. Use modifiers before adjective to improve your description. I have a really big bedroom. Revise the household nouns, page 55 in student's book, so that you can remember the household nouns and describe them in your home. Do workbook exercises before the student's book. This is very important. You have to do the workbook exercises first so that you can practice using the correct modifiers. Your homework. Workbook page 45, exercise 1, 2, and 3. Student's book, page 60, exercise 4 and 5. Well, that's the end of the lesson, my friends. I hope that it was very helpful. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.